And I'm just going to always kind of bring in some light language when I do any energetics, as it helps tune in people coming in. And so just listen before I start. It'll be 2 more minutes. Mahete ake aho, amahara e atestia we, amaherara e kriana istiawa, iriaka ea e sierara mahatenea. Imia hatesti awaya e reaka distiwa, amahareara muayana e kuaya sise. Amahara e kuaya tekia e a iara distiwa. Ea ara nistiawa e mahayatisi, maerea maya kiawa e maya e aranama. Hawa e fayaria kustiawa. And I can feel the presence of so many beautiful women coming in now. Goddesses in your own right, because this is the month of the goddess in the sense of the very integrative, peaceful mother energies coming in for the month of May. The number 5, the star, that 5-pointed star, which really talks about embodiment and landing in our humanness in whichever way we are, but also grounding in our power and in our expression. Ikroakia testi mahatekoa ikrana hate atikwaya aya waya naya masofia krana amma kiara rakea washtikawa imaha etina washtia. So if you are here, beautiful women, bringing in the power of your voice and your knowingness that where you're heading is where you are meant to be, just allow these energies to move you through with complete trust and assurance that it is where you're going. So there's no more self-doubt, no more self-doubt. Ikraki ashti mahetiana era. A eaka ea maha e ekoa ake atika ara eatista. So my name is Miri Naad, and I just jump in sometimes when I really feel guided, just to share what's coming up for me as I open up to all these energies, as I receive the messages and the guidance to pass it through, because you know what, life is an open source of information, and we are all bringing in information for each other constantly, and that's the beauty of being in this human body, that we can all receive information through our own ways, our own filters, our own understanding, our own truth. And then we communicate it openly. We give it freely as we're entering and we are in this new age of Aquarius, which means open source, open heart, new reality, and new humanity. And that is a very interesting times we're transversing, because we are in a transition. As I speak now, checking the Schumann resonance, we are right now receiving very, very strong amplitude of crystalline energies coming in the planet right now. So if you are feeling them, I would prompt you to not resist them and just really allow them in whichever way they come, because sometimes they come as purification in whichever your body is needing. Sometimes it comes as a notch for us to slow down and do self-care. In my case, for example, I feel it in the frontal lobe of my brain as a sinus pressure, and I also been feeling it at my chest, going through very powerful upgrades at chest and expression. And obviously it always puts pressure in our brains, as our both hemispheres are receiving this energy through the solar logos, through the photons, and through the earth grid. And so obviously our magnetic fields feel it, and our nervous system feels it. So we need to allow this energy to ground, and how we ground is with our breath, with our voice. And some of you may want to join and sound with me. Before I start. Okay, so what's really transpiring, what's coming up for May, we all been feeling this energetics of April as a bit of a push and pull. We've been going forwards and backwards, and sometimes this feels like I'm kind of feeling stuck here. I thought I've already gone through this. Do I have to review this again? And this push and pull will move a little bit through May, but what's the energetics of May, it's really taking us into a few things. The first one I really point out, as it really came very clear when I was asking for guidance for this update, was consistency. Consistency is key at this time. Because even though April came in the force of the Taurus, you know, the bull coming in to, okay, let's move through whatever we need to move through with diligence and strength and force, May comes in these last 2 weeks of this Taurus energy before we change into Gemini in the 20th of May. It is prompting us to be very consistent in what we started back in February. We need to be very consistent. And so there is no time of conflicting sides or self-doubt. It's really about keep moving forward. Even if you slow your pace, which is also part of this May energetics, slow down. Do not need to stop. You don't need to completely exert yourself to the point where you're so exhausted that you need to completely stop everything. So it's more about slow down your pace. Slow it down, but be consistent. And the other aspect of this consistency that is needed is being in our 0-point neutrality. And what does that mean? It means taking ourselves a little bit out from the driver's seat. Of course, we can do both. And that's where the amazing of us being in multidimensional beings and also in our mind. We're constantly bilocating, whether we notice this or not. We have a physical being in a moment in time, but we're constantly bilocating in our minds when we're transversing our thought waves back and forth. Yes. And then also at energetic level, emotional level, we're all constantly traveling. So we are already existing in many different layers within our present moment. That's why when we align into presence, we go into 0 point. So 0 points means I am all and nothing. I am driving the seat, but I'm also observing the driver. So this 0 point of neutrality allows us to take a breath and observe while I'm walking my path, without immediately going through with whatever it is, an action, a thought, an expression of communication. So consistency. That will take the pressure from you having to take decisions really quickly, or also the feeling of, oh, I need to stop now, I'm stuck. Yes. So consistency, neutrality. The next very important is magnetics. I got a really big notch that we are in a very strong portal pathway in our Earth magnetics, and also the May 5th, the number 5, which also translates into change. So moving from the 4th, which is the foundation, to the 5th, which also always brings the fire energy, but also brings the point of change, the point of ascension from whatever foundation. So if you created a really strong foundation now, you need to consistently start moving to where you need to go, but also understanding that whatever you send through will come back to you. And this is very key, because we may be thinking, yes, I am bearing my neutrality, I am connected to my abundance, to my gifts, I'm ready to really embody this who I am and really assist humanity in this transition. But yet your magnetics in your everyday life, you may be feeling inside or constantly fighting yourself. Oh, this is not good enough. This is not going fast enough. I thought we were supposed to already go through this. Where is everybody? Why is not everybody aligning? And so there is this constant, if there's a struggle, if you catch yourself with this struggle within, that's what you're going to magnetize. So that brings us to being a very conscious creator. And in being impeccable in every single thought and emotion that you're going through. From driving your car to work or to anywhere, the moment you're fighting with the person in front of you because they're going too slow or too fast, or whichever way you think they should be going, the moment you are sending that through, you are magnetizing exactly the same back to you. So in that way, this May month will be a very strong mirror month. And bear in mind, mirror months are very transformative because we're not always constantly conscious of what we're thinking and feeling. And that's being human. But if we understand that, we're more aware. But the moment you catch yourself sending something, know that it's okay, you're just, and vice versa, you're receiving what everybody else is mirroring back to you. So in that respect, we are all mirrors. So if you're finding yourself being impatient, know that also someone else is feeling impatient about your own rhythms. And that takes me to the next theme of compassion. And a lot of people confuse compassion with I'm going to have to feel someone else's pain and connect to that, and I'm being in compassion. That is empathy. So let's not confuse compassion with empathy. The true meaning of compassion is becoming the other. Becoming the other. And in becoming the other, there is no other. When we become the other, then there's no other. There's only you. How to do this in a practical way is whatever you're struggling with, you put yourself, what if I was the one doing this? What if I am the one creating this? Where is that point of view feels like? And so my perspective might change going, from that other side point of view, from that filter, from that truth, of course, this is why I'm acting the way I'm acting. Yeah. So you turn it around, flip the point of view to the other. When you flip the point of view to the other, you become the other. So then there's no judgment. You release the judgment immediately, because then you understand why that person or why that is happening. Yeah. So compassion has to do with the mirror month and the consistency of neutrality. And I tell you why is this important in the next 2 weeks. And I know I don't like to give some much dates, because then people get really fixated with timelines, and they get really fixated with dates. And the problem with dates, it becomes we get locked in that date, and if nothing happens, if we feel that date has transpired and nothing happens, our entire emotional attachment to the date affects our faith and affects the way we are creating. So it's like we're boxing ourselves and we're limiting ourselves. in reality, there is no time. We are creating time. So time is constantly this space where everything is happening constantly. What we need to do is have that eagle eye view, Earth's bird's view, so that we can understand. So from a birth point position, if I ask my ascended masters or guys I work with, when is this happening? Then they might tell me soon. Very, very soon. I might get really excited thinking this is next week. The issue with that is if I move that point of view to my perspective, that could be another year. And so we need to stop fixating in dates and timelines and understand that every timeline is a fluid, it's a thread, it's a tapestry. So there's so many timelines at play. So if I ever give you dates, unless they're astrological dates are markers, but we'll talk about that in a moment. If I give you a date, I'm giving you a possible timeline, and understand that as we work through coherence and energetics, when we like a timeline and we focus on that timeline and we magnetize that timeline, then we can manifest it physically. And that's where the importance of coherence, mass meditations, and holding the vision and consistency helps to manifest. But imagine we have endless amount of timelines, but of course recently humanity has chosen to energize two very important timelines, very strong, and sadly both of them are very engaging each other, headbutting each other. And so those two timelines are being consistently activated energetically. And so it seems like we can call them the two earths, or the two realities, or the split of energetics. And that is important to understand, because both realities can coexist at the same time. And that's where people that can be in both are jumping from one to the other. We call it the golden bridge or the rainbow bridge. We are transversing. Some of us know that that's part of our work, and we do that. So understanding that these two forces are at play. And of course we know that where we're heading is an open source, where all these two forces will completely crumble and we're going into an open vast of creation where there is no limit. And that's very scary, because it means you need to know what you're creating, how you are creating, what do you want, and hold your vision, yes, and magnetize it. It's easier to know what you don't want. And so we get into that fight constantly of what I don't want. So the two energetics at play, and this is also coming with astrological forces, is the authoritative control, old way of paradigm existing and living, and the new open source, neutrality, and complete support for self-growth and sovereignty and freedom. So the freedom code and the control code, the freedom timeline and the control timeline. These are two constantly at play, and sometimes they get really muddly and very confusing. So it's a matter of you focusing on which one you are coming into more fluidly, which one feels better for you. Sometimes we need some systems of control because it gives us safety and it allows us to feel that we have something to hold on to. And other times we really feel like that's holding us back, and we really need to step into the freedom timeline. So it's really, really important. This is going to amplify more at the physical level, especially with the new moon coming in May 11th, the new moon coming in the sign of Taurus, and Mars entering Cancer. And Mars is the force of driving energy. Cancer always has to deal with all that is emotional, personal, family, home, change of where you're living and you're dwelling. So of course, May comes in as well with this force of many of you may be relocating. Many of you had already relocating. Many of you are finding a place to stay and to ground and to dwell. And it's very intricate, and you don't know just yet if you're going to land. So know that all this is at play here, and you need to kind of navigate this and allow yourself to be in that 0 point of neutrality and do not resist it, and trust that you're going to land when you need to land. And that's where I started this conversation today. Mars entering in Cancer means accountability. So no more blame game, no more it's because the world, it's because the others, it's because my family, it's because my work, someone else is to blame. I'm good. I'm doing my thing here in my 5D world, and I'm just meditating, and this is not my responsibility. And the fact of the matter is that's a very wounded warrior activity that or a game that we do like to play in human ego point of view. Someone else is to blame. I'm doing the right thing. So the point will be back at you this month. Again, we are mirrors. So if you're blaming the other, you're blaming yourself. Whatever you see in the other, you are seeing in yourself, because there's no other. So back to that understanding of observing and neutrality. We enter Gemini. The sun entered Gemini on May the 20th, and that's a bit of that fresh air. That's that release of point of tension, but it also means communication, community, commonality, and also will bring more the light into bringing into the light, seeing other people's points of view and new perspectives. So we will be prompted to review our own worldview. And I want to really point this out, because there's no room for rigid world view or fixed ideas. But as I say this right now, as I was hearing it right now, no room for rigid worldviews. The moment I say no room, it's kind of that irony, or is it? The moment I say no room for rigid ideas, I am actually doing exactly what I'm not trying to do. So, observing that game, we might think we're on the good side, but that point of view may be so rigid that we're not seeing that there may be other points of view at play here that are beyond our understanding, and they're all at play. So be very, very careful, again, in which wagon you jump in, what idea you jump in, what fight you choose to fight, what belief system, or what, it's all, hold it lightly. Take a step back again, not from the driver's seat perspective, a notch back, but both. You're both in it and observing and feeling it and transversing with the wisdom of your heart, obviously, that discernment, because things are going to get really, really wonky. And when a very strong marker in time would be the eclipse, the lunar eclipse, the full moon. It would be the first blood moon of the year, the 26th of May. And that is where we would be able to see the shadow that the earth would be casting on the full moon on the 26th of May in Sagittarius. So let's break that down a little bit really quickly. Sagittarius, the huntress. Sagittarius, Artemisia. Sagittarius, the fire element of direction and vision and values and prophecy and getting there, right? The earth casting the shadow on the moon. So what is our earth shadow? What are we reflecting? What is the illusion that we still want to energize and take with us? Can we go to this new reality and this new world with no expectations? Can we let go of our own rigid ideas and beliefs of what we think the new earth or the new reality or 5D, 6D, put it labels on the dimension as you like? Can we let go of all notions? Because in truth, we have no idea what it is about to happen. It already did. We need to let go of any preconceived idea. And that is the true 0 point. That is the true placing that seed in that fertile ground and allowing it to go where it needs to go and flourish the way it needs to flourish. rather than the fixed idea that this is how it's going to happen and why not anyone is wake up world and getting everyone in your wagon. Do not inject yourself with these, do not do so again, that's not saying that that's not a great vision to have, and it's important to understand what's happening and what is this timelines doing and who is controlling, the systems of control. What are they doing? Watch them, but don't no longer activate them. Don't take them with you to wherever you're heading. So the lunar eclipse, the full moon, blood moon on the 26th of May is a great opportunity for you to really release in you, complete in you. It's a rebirth. It's an opportunity for a rebirth of your fundamental value system and your fundamental belief system. And it takes a lot of courage to say, you know what? Up till now, I really thought this. And now I'm ready to let it go because maybe I'm not really resonating with that anymore. It's not really there anymore. I'm not really there and I don't have to hold it. Or maybe I don't know. I just know that I don't know. So I hold back. I step back. So very, very important. And of course, one of the very important aspects that any lunar full moon eclipse brings is sudden shifts at personal level. So when solar eclipse happened, it's very at collective level. Lunar eclipses or lunar activity is very personal. So in May is interesting because while I'm prompting you to be neutral, consistent, exercise compassion, become the other, understand that we are mirrors, and keep your outlook of the world flexible. It's the energy of May is so personal. So it's really hard because you will take things personal. Trust me, you will take it at heart and you will feel it. So this is where my inner wisdom comes with my work and embodiment. Allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to feel truly what you're feeling, because guess what? We're humans and we're in this incredible and exhausting journey together. And so feeling is part of being human. And so if you feel really strongly what's going on, then feel it. The moment we allow that feeling, it goes. It's like rain. It's like a flow. You let it go, like a wind. You can put it anything, any feel. Just let it go through you. May will become very personal, very quickly, very emotional. And the one thing I do want to say is, as we know, when we follow energetics and astrological level, Mercury will become retrograde. And that would be at the end of May, almost from the 30th of May to June 23rd of June. So when we have a Mercury retrograde, it's all up for review. No taking decisions, not big decisions and not steps. So just know your markers. There's a few things that you need to be aware. Maybe you just flow and that's okay. And if something happens, you might remember, oh yeah, Miri said that. Or I remember Mercury's retrograde. This is why this is happening. Sometimes our rational mind needs to understand what's going on. But otherwise, it's understanding and being ready. It's like watching a bit weather, what's going to happen? Do I need to get an extra layer? So this is what's coming up for May for you. Are you able to hold your strength and your neutrality? Are you able to speak your truth openly? Are you able to navigate your emotions with compassion for yourself? Can you actually exercise true compassion, which is becoming the other, to understand there is no other? And finally, can I be patient with myself and the rhythms of others? Patience is key, and patience is a virtue, and it's very, very difficult to exercise patience when we've been for so long doing a lot of shadow work, and when we feel it in our gut and our hearts that something is about to happen and you just want it here. And I get that, because I get it. Yes. And my last point that I want to really say before I do a light language transmission, which I always do, because light language always brings us back into the heart once the mind settles, is how can we in every moment express the new reality. So if we're really wanting this shift to happen at human and collective level and at world level, our highest vision, if we hold the highest vision for all, which for me feels and looks like freedom, sovereignty, abundance, cooperation, equality, joy, dance and music and all of that, a big party, big beautiful party where everyone is acknowledged and loved and supported, right? So we hold that vision, the highest vision that you might have for humanity. Now, it's not something that is going to happen far away, and it's not la la land that I'm suddenly a portal is going to open and I'm going to be sucked into, the new reality zone. We create it. Again, responsibility and accountability. So how am I making this vision with my reality right now? Every single thought, emotion, word that comes out of me, activity, action that I take in this world right now with my everyday living, is it in alignment of this vision that I hold? Because I could be saying, yes, love and light to everyone, but I'm cursing every time I'm driving about the one in front of me. Yeah? So am I really expressing fully right now, here and now in my human beingness? Am I expressing the highest vision that I see for everybody? So we have to become that human being that we want to see in everyone else. Can you become that human being that you want to see in everyone? And if we all do this, then ta-da, right? It's a very easy formula. So be very observant of your every single thoughts, feelings, and actions, how you're interacting with yourself first. How you talk to yourself is key. Are you constantly putting yourself down in your mind, telling how unworthy you are and how lazy you are, how you're not doing all your tasks that you've got, how you should be doing all this and that, and you're being so impatient with yourself and putting yourself down? So from the moment you wake, how are you talking to yourself? It starts. Or are you being that high expression of yourself with you first, sitting in there with you first? And so that will become this force that it is going to be undeniably bright, because the moment you step in your highest version of yourself, everybody will feel it. Here comes the magnetic spark of May and forever, right? It's, again, let's move past the timelines. Can you become your highest aspect of yourself and beam it, be your self, fully aware and present? Even when at times you feel like crying, and you can cry it and you can say, how are you today? I feel exhausted, and you're being real. But that acknowledgement, that openness of your heart, you will always move people around you to going, oh yeah, I'm also feeling this way. Oh yeah, that's right, I can be myself. Oh, what a fresh air. I can be authentic. I can be transparent because no one will judge me. If I stop judging myself, then automatically people around me will stop judging me. If I feel judged, it's because I'm judging myself. Again, it takes that time to really observe and become your mirror. So there's no other, there's just me. And so what I am creating right now in every single moment is what I am creating. Okay? So I'll leave you with that. And I hope I hadn't taken much of your time. I really, really appreciate everyone that has come in to watch, to feel, to connect with me. Whoever has left your messages, I will read them after. Really thank you, and I appreciate each one of you. I feel your energy already. And I thank you all beautiful women for your work and your dedication and your support. The mother love in the month of May is very strong. And I can feel right now the love of our universal mother coming in now. Ekwarana era maheate testawa yarara hasese naha iakua ya maheate. Maya awa eayati anahia wa yakiasi. Maha akiati kwa yake. Amaharana ekishti wa yake waya. Makau, makau, makau. Makau ashte. Ra ea nahe maya tishtia waya kiasa. Hati ki mahe ama kia kiawa. Marea nasti mahatia. Ikwa takiawa kerema. Muana kestima. Akwa tekirara etestiwa mahe. Ma e kuayana se. Ma kuayana se. Arana he testigo a etinama. Kruakisti. Okestimaha. Thank you. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, you can jot them down in the comments now. I will do my best to answer from my perspective and my filter and my wisdom. And through my site, Spanda.online, it has there all my services and what I do if you resonate with them. And I am really keen and to receive any messages from you, whatever you're feeling, whatever your guidance in saying. Remember, the age of Aquarius is open source. There's no gurus and there's no masters. You are your inner master, and we're all masters here because it takes mastery to walk this earth and still be here with our joy and our heart. So we are all masters, and so please also share your wisdom with me. I would love to hear it and feel it in my heart. Namaste, everyone. Have a good night.